So he said that imagine that you are on a highway. And as you exit the highway, you notice that there is a car sitting there on the side of the road with its hood up. There's a lady looking down into the engine. Do you stop or do you keep going? And why?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Um, that's good. I think it, well, probably depends on the highway. Do you say highway or interstate? Highway?
Yeah, he said you exited the highway. Probably, yeah, to the exit or ramp or however you want to visualize that.
Right. Okay. Um, I think, for me, it depends on where we're at. If it's the middle of absolute nowhere, I might pull over just to check and say hi. If it's a really busy highway, we're in a very big city area where there's a lot of people, I might not, just because I'm probably thinking, well, maybe they already have someone. Um, I want to try and answer that without sounding like a jerk. um, yeah, that's a
These
interest.
days,
It just depends on, because these days it's so hard to really answer that. 20 years ago, yeah, I do live here in the Midwest, and we are usually pretty good about helping each other out and trying to help if it looks like a situation that's stuck. Now, if it was a blizzard and I was driving home and she was pushing her car and struggling, I might get out and help. Just
yep.
because you're in the middle of a blizzard, it's cold. If it's a nice, warm, sunny day, maybe not. That's, yeah, a hard question to answer right now, I think, these days, because a lot of people also don't want help. I don't know if you've noticed that.
There's that
A lot of
factor.
people just
Or
want to
there's
do it
even
on their
this
own.
possible safety issue because maybe she's not alone, maybe it just appears. Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many scenarios.
Well, and yeah. Not safety was the other one I was thinking, because I
Mm.
have a vivid imagination. They might be just trying to con me out as getting out of the car or something.
Yeah.
I would say I'm probably more apt to help a guy if I see them and they're struggling, just because I think I can relate more, if that makes sense. I don't know. Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good
It is an
question. I
interesting
don't know.
question. Yeah, because I even have to ask myself, would I even stop? And I think in my case, I might I might have to maybe stop further down, maybe call someone, like a local police, maybe someone to help them, someone who's going to take the right
Yeah.
precautions. Yeah, don't think I would want to leave
Right.
them stranded if they legitimately need help, but I wouldn't want to take the risk because of safety. But I had to think about that one
Well, then I'm
myself
not a
because there's too many factors. You just don't know.
there are well, I'm not a mechanic, so really, I'm not going to help you anyway. I can't. I'm not going to be able to help you because I don't know what I'm doing. So that's part of why I might drive away too, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. She might have a boyfriend or a husband or a dad who's coming, and they're way more intelligent than I am. So you never know. Yeah, as well. And
True.
also too, I think I'm very cautious of the fact, or not cautious. Well, I am cautious, but I'm also very aware of the fact that, and I think maybe it's because I've worked residential settings for so long. I'm very aware of the fact of being a white male with a beard. There's a lot of like, oh, I don't want that guy coming near me. You know, there's so many times where I've worked with youth and they're like, you remind me of a police officer in town. You remind me of an uncle who I didn't like. You remind me of, so I'm very conscious of aware of just the fact of me being a white male. That might actually make them more nervous. That might actually make her more scared. She may not want me to come across. One of the most humbling experiences I have is with my current job. We have a lot of grant conferences and events that we have to do, and they're always in the South. They're always in the South, which is great because it's very humbling to be the person in the room and be the minority when you're the white male being the minority, and 9% of that room is having issues where it's like, okay, historically my people created all this. So, but even when they're friendly and helpful, you can tell there's always a little bit of wanting to be a little distant from me, just because I'm sure there is personal experience. So I think that factors in a lot of too of why I might not help her out
Yeah.
or even him, just
Yep.
because of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's just a lot of factors, and I really can't imagine anyone in our audience faulting you, because I had to think, like I said, I had to think about that myself. It's just so many factors, safety being foremost among them.
Yeah.